This is the Sports Porch, Black and Gold, with your hosts, the technical director, the Grand Schwabini, and Hockey Jesus. Come on, Pittsburgh. Let's show a little Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates love. The Sports Porch Black and Gold starts now. Oh, yeah, the Sports Porch Black and Gold starts now. I'm laughing because, we didn't do our post-game show last night, and we're going to blame it on me. In case you haven't
just listen to you. My God.
Right.
You sound like death warmed over.
This is my sexy, sultry voice. That's what I'm bringing to town tonight.
Okay, you go with that.
Kind of in between sniffles. Anyway, I'm the TD. This is the Sports Porch Black and Gold. So happy you're here. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, click notifications every Monday night, 7 p.m. Right next to me over here, right there on the screen, that's Hockey Jesus. We are again missing the Grand Schwabini. He was enjoying himself someplace south, right?
He always enjoys himself over the weekend.
I wonder if he smoked a cigar.
Dude, he doesn't smoke cigars.
No, but he sends us pictures every year, like saying,
"Oh yeah, you're right."
Oh,
he says when he goes to the island, he likes to smoke a cigar.
This is where I smoke cigars, bitches, like stuff like that. That's what he does. So we do.
I think I can get you to kill yourself if I get you to laugh hard enough.
Yeah, it's possible. It actually is possible.
Yeah.
We do miss him. He did get his picks in. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. Listen, man. I was sick. I've had a cold for the last 4 or 5 days. We're not going to get into too much to that about that at all, other than, I'll use it as my excuse when I make a bad decision next week. You know what I mean? If I make the wrong pick, well, I would, I was under the effects of Mucinex anyway. So, that game was terrible. I watched 4 hours, not 4 hours. I watched 12 hours of football yesterday.
Wow.
Because I couldn't get off the couch. I mean, I would get off the couch to have some like pretzel nuggets and chicken soup. And other than that, man, it was football. And I don't have YouTube TV. I just have regular old direct TV now. So I'm stuck with whatever's on. And I watched Drake May.
He's good. He's good.
I watched Drake May. I watched
Baker.
The Baker. That's right. Then I watched the Commanders, and that was that.
Oh,
that was,
boy,
that was
a mistake. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was the only game I could get, and then of course I went on to watch the Steelers, and I got to tell you, I did not like what I saw, and I don't think I'm alone here. So we're going to talk about that tonight. I don't think there's a lot of good that can be said about this game. Are people really shocked, says Chris Chada, the Steelers put in a performance like that? I'm not. It's who they are. Stale, old, and slow. And HJ, that's kind of the way you've been talking about them for a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the way I feel, the way Chris Chada says it. I mean, yeah. I wasn't surprised by last night. I maybe I'm alone there, but they just don't play well against good teams, especially good teams on the road. And now it seems like good teams on the road in prime time. Now that they're 0-3 in prime time,
this year they're 0-3 in prime time.
Yeah, this year
you're right.
They're 0-3 in prime time. God. And that's like that's not typical of a Tomlin team. Normally they turn on the shine whenever they play in prime time, but this year they just. I mean, remember the one game was. The Cincinnati game, which they blew. And then the game after that was the Green Bay game, which they were never in. And then same with this game. So, I mean, that Cincinnati game was pretty exciting, but they blew it. Yeah. And then the other two, they just got blown out by a better team, So I think I'm with Chris on this one, but that being said, I think there's some light at the end of the tunnel, but we'll get to that later. We'll get to that later after we get some angst out about this game.
I don't know about that. I don't know if there's light at the end of the tunnel. I have a feeling I know where you're going. I could be wrong though, because you can be unpredictable. But all around, this was not Aaron Rodgers' best performance. The only thing that looked good on offense was Jaylen Warren rushed for 70 yards, but you would have never guessed that. Who was the offensive?
I would have guessed that. He had some really nice runs. That one leapfrog run, that hurdle run, and plus he caught a swing pass for like 18 yards too. So I mean,
who was the offensive Steelers star? Jaylen Warren with I think 91 yards. Well, I think if you include did he have any receptions? No, he had no receptions. So he had 70 yards rushing. So it's Chris Collinsworth talked about this, and I know you hate Chris Collinsworth, and I know
he was getting crucified on the radio today.
Was he?
Oh yeah, I mean he was using wrong names for players and everything last night.
I think he might have been hammered.
you probably didn't hear it because your hearing is all stuffed up in your nose.
I might have been drifting in and out of sleep too.
And honestly, it was interesting because I actually listened to him a little bit, because normally we have quite a text chain going, but with Schwab down on the island and you in misery, it seemed like nobody wanted to text last night, which is a little bizarre for us watching games. But I was able to listen to Collinsworth, and yeah, he's as bad as ever. he's just absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get a debate there. I do think last night he sounded a little hammered, and I'm thinking, look, he's in LA. What these guys? They talk about their grueling schedule and all the preparation they do. Well, that's in between $500 dinners and $300 bottles of wine and, women and fun, So anyway, what Collinsworth was talking about, which I actually think he was right, because I've been talking about this all year. And every time I do, you seem to have a little bit of an issue with it. And it's, they don't have a number 2 receiver for real. And DK Metcalf is not your classic number 1. Collinsworth mentioned it. Mike Tirico backed him up, which tells me there was a sober eye on this as well. That, Metcalf is double team, and you still can't get that number 2 receiver to break out and be the number 1 for the day. And Calvin Austin just does not fill that role. Now you look at Austin was 2 for 14, 2 catches for 14 yards. He did have 7 targets.
Yeah, that's the problem, right?
Right. Rodgers also targeted Metcalf 7 times. It almost looks like he's trying to give that's him on purpose in a way, if you think about it, other than the numbers just worked out that way.
Well, I mean, he did tip that one ball that got intercepted. So that wasn't really Rodgers' fault. That was CA3. But I mean, there were a lot of times when it was just great coverage and he wasn't open and he tried to throw him the ball anyways. Same with DK also. So I mean, I think what we're
touchdown, last attempt at a touchdown was horrible.
Oh yeah, he wasn't open. He forced it to him.
Yeah.
And it was a 4th down, which made it worse,
Right.
Because they were essentially down by, 2 scores, 2 touchdowns really. I think it was like 12 points or something like that. So they had to go for it on 4th. And when you get behind the sticks like that, it's a recipe for disaster with the Steelers offense, because they're not good enough to do that. And you're not wrong in saying the Steelers don't have a second wide receiver. And the problem is when they play against good teams that have 2 good cornerbacks and they can roll them up. Right. They're not afraid to do that because, like you said, they can double team DK. If he gets loose, then it's no big deal. And if they roll it up, that means they can pin it back and go get Rodgers. And it seems like he only gets 2.5 seconds. So if somebody's not open, forget it. He's running for his life. And that's exactly what happened last night. So that's the problem with this offense. It needs to be a little bit more imaginative. Like maybe you run a draw there. Maybe. I
don't think I've seen a single draw all year. Have you?
Yeah. No, I haven't. But that's what I'm saying. Like this is where you got to pull something different out, because but they don't have anything different. This offensive is not imaginative enough to even draw up a different type of play because they just don't. And like, what is Rodgers going to do? Check out of that into what? When they're rolled up like that, there's nothing to check into. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he can say, okay, well, he's going to be covered and he's going to be covered. Shit, what am I going to do? Do a quarterback draw? I mean, that doesn't work. He can't run the ball anymore. So I don't know. They're going to have to figure that out because they do play against some pretty good teams. And should they make the playoffs, they're going to have to play against a really good team. So the interesting thing will be this week when they play against a terrible defense in Cincinnati at home. Will they be able to figure it out? Just get the offense going and then finally get some splash plays. I mean, we didn't even talk about that, but defense got 0 splash plays. And when they get 0 splash plays, they're garbage. They're absolutely garbage. And I don't want to say garbage because if you look at the first half, they did get quite a few 3-and-outs from Herbert for sure.
Yeah, they did. I mean, he they gave up 115 yards rushing, 220 passing, which is not horrible.
Considering 58 was on one pass to McConkey.
Right. Arthur Smith, too conservative and no imagination, says Mike Lawrence. I mean, I hate to say it, Mike, I don't want you to get mad at me, but no shit. I mean,
no, I mean, he's right. I mean, there's just no,
I know he's laughing,
but I mean, that's what happens when you have 3 tight ends and, in your offense. And that's the way you want to run. That's the way you want to run the offense.
Yeah.
You can't send somebody deep.
They got nobody that stretches the field. That's what I've been saying all year. And
they don't have anybody who they can send deep other than maybe DK and loosen up that offense, loosen up that defense a little bit. When you throw it deep, you're also looking for a pass interference penalty also.
I know.
You don't necessarily have to complete it, but you can get a 40-yard penalty and suddenly you're out at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, that's of course, deep. But they just don't have. And Rodgers has always been a fan of the deep ball. I love how they talk about him now as a short yardage guy. Well, yeah, of course. He
chucked it deep 2 or 3 times in this game. He just wasn't on.
What I'm saying is in for most of his career, though, he was known for that 20, 30, 40-yard pass. And he could throw it and throw it well. And people were open. So he wants to do that. And I think he can still do that. But we have nobody that stretches the field. And look, I think DK Metcalf is a great receiver. And I think he adds a dimension to the team, but it needed to be complemented. And dare I say it, look, somebody with George Pickens' talent, not his attitude. If they had somebody with Pickens' talent, like they were able to keep Pickens, but Pickens was like, I don't know, on Xanax forever and everything was cool with his head, then I think they'd have a really dangerous combination, or anybody but George, anybody else who has George Pickens skills.
See, I disagree. I disagree with that. And you know why I disagree with that? Because the Steelers offense isn't geared towards chucking the ball 20 yards down the field. They just don't do that. That's not what they want to do. They want to run the ball. They want to pass the ball 10 yards. They want to run the ball. They want to pass the ball 5 yards. They want to run the ball. They want to run the ball. They want to pass the ball 5 yards. That's what they want to do. That's their offense. That's the characteristic of their offense.
I get your point, and your point is well taken, and it's right. Here's what I'm talking about. You have to be able to have another viable threat that is a deep threat where you're going to pull those safeties back and there's going to be more room in that soft, mushy middle.
That's not the way the Steelers feel. They don't run their offense.
Obviously,
like that.
They don't feel that way. But it's wrong. That's what I'm
Well,
saying. It's
no,
wrong.
it
It's
works. It
flat
works
out wrong.
when you don't make mistakes
It
and
works every other
and
game.
and
It
your
works every other game.
and your defense can make splash plays. It works.
Right.
That's
So
when it works.
that's my point.
When it doesn't work is when you've got to go against two cornerbacks who are all pros and they can roll them up, and now you can't run the ball, and now you can't pass the ball. So what happens is your quarterback runs for his life. Puck is collapsing. He's trying to get the ball out, and he gets sacked.
Right. Well, and another thing to consider is Sayamalu was out. I don't think anybody really understood the impact it would have on that line, because it did have an impact on that line.
Well, let me ask you this. The Los Angeles Chargers were missing both their starting tackles. Did TJ Watt have a feast day on him? No, he did not.
He got a sack.
Yeah, he got a sack after they were down like 22-3. Who the fuck cares about getting a sack when you're down that late? It's like the most bullshit sack you can get.
Well, I agree with you, but I was talking on one side of the ball. Let's concentrate on that, and then we can talk about the defense, because I'm with you on that. You thought, I don't know why you thought it was the other way. So, the offensive line was missing Sayamalu, and he's a veteran presence on that line. And I think it had a little bit of an effect, and I think it had an effect on Rodgers as well, even though he's not Broderick Jones. And I think
TJ Watt got his sack when it was 3rd and 16 on the second to last series of
folks,
the game.
once he gets on something, it's an engineer's mind.
I mean, come on.
I was going to come back.
You're saying TJ like, oh, he had a sack, so he did well. He did shit.
Okay,
you're shit all game.
Steve, you're right. I'm absolutely was not going to defend the defense. I only wanted to talk about the offensive line. So if you want to flip it right now, because obviously you're getting impatient with the fact that you think I'm defending them. No, I was going to say there are people that have been saying out there that the offense let the defense down, and they're looking at things like the defense got 5 sacks. Yeah, right. But they still let Herbert throw the ball. They didn't get any splash plays. I saw Ramsey out of position here and there playing safety. He wasn't anywhere near the ball. And then down near the end of the game, he started to creep up to try to take chances. Okay, where were you in the beginning of the game? It's kind of like, so I'm with you 100%. I was going the other way.
Well, I'm just equating the two offensive lines. I'm just equating the two offensive lines. They had a much worse situation with their offensive line. And we supposedly have a much better defensive line that can rush the quarterback. Well, so yes, we did. So we did get 5 sacks.
There you go.
It made no difference in the outcome of the game.
Made no difference.
No difference in the outcome of the game.
No, because when the defense had to stop them, they couldn't. And then let's throw in the once a year Chris Boswell miss, right?
Yeah,
let's just throw that in there for good measure. You can't blame him. Nobody's going to be perfect.
Did you see that ball?
Yeah.
not to say that was forgivable, but my God, he kicked it on the left side of the post, and it went not the whole way over. He went the whole way over and out. It had so much. I've never seen a ball with so much curve. In an indoor stadium, nonetheless.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, maybe
that was right out of Old Heinz Field, man.
Maybe
I was surprised by that.
Maybe Boswell tried to miss that. Maybe what he was saying is, look, guys, I'm tired of getting to do everything around here. I'm tired of it. Okay, so I'm going to miss this one, and then maybe you sons of bitches could step up to the plate and play some football. Look, the weather was good because you're in SoFi and you're in sunny Southern California. I know they don't play well on the West Coast. They demonstrated that once again. Here's where I thought things were going to go south. Honest to God, when they were talking before the game and they said this was Aaron Rodgers' first time playing in SoFi, and they showed Aaron Rodgers, and he was looking around SoFi, and I could see in his eyes that he was like, "Wow, this is one of the big ones." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh boy, he's already intimidated by playing in this new newish stadium. But I'm going to tell you what, this right here sums up Aaron Rodgers' game right there. Because I'm not 100%. Now, if you're listening on the podcast, which I drop right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. And if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please hit that button, the subscribe button at the Sports Porch Podcast. Click notifications, 7 p.m. Monday night next week. Promise, voice will sound a little better. I won't sound like I'm trying to pick up, something.
I was wondering where you're going to end up.
The sexy, sultry voice back in the days when I would go to the clubs. And you get this voice going. You're like, so what do you do? What do you do? That kind of stuff. Yeah.
That was this like voice, 30 years ago, just so you know.
My wife looks at me and shakes her head right now. And I'm like, I can't help it. I can't help I sound this way. So anyway, I'm fully convinced this is an AI photo. If that's Aaron Rodgers, I mean, my God. I look at that guy and I say, retire. Come on.
Put your head back on, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Now, let me just say, I'm not officially calling for Aaron Rodgers to retire. I'm just saying that's an embarrassing picture on many levels. So, it is what it is. Mike Lawrence, he wants us to comment on Tomlinisms from his post-game press conference. He talked about the collective. Maybe in a second. This might be, says Chris Chata, a vanity project for Aaron as Tampa turned into for Brady. By that, I mean they ain't taking big hits for nothing or nobody. Yeah, although that hit looked like it was pretty big. I got to tell you something about these Tomlinisms. I'm starting to find them unbelievably annoying now. For a while.
Just now?
Well, I didn't pay as much attention to his press conferences 10 years ago. Just in the last 5 or 6 years, and now in the last couple years, because I think we're getting to an inflection point here where something has to be done, even though we think the Steelers may not do it. It's kind of like, dude, it seems obvious to me that you're preparing these speeches ahead of time and you're purposely choosing these vague words. And he even so much as admitted in an interview that sometimes he works on a Tomlinism to throw out there. It's like, man, they're paying you $10 million a year to coach the Pittsburgh Steelers. And these people, they want answers to their questions and they want to hear a little bit of emotion and they want to know what's going on in your fucking mind after your team just shit the bed in Los Angeles. And you walk up there and you're like, blah, 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 the collective, blah, blah, blah. Look, we know the team played like shit. Could you tell us something we don't know? Like for once? Give me a real sentence. He's used them all up.
Well, that's
he's used them all up. Yeah, that's the thing.
He hasn't innovated any new Tomlinisms because he doesn't have anything else new to say.
Yeah.
You can only say the collective so many times before everybody knows you're just saying the team sucks.
What does it mean? What's a vote for socialism? I mean, come on, the collective. The collective. All right, Chris Chata. Isn't it disrespectful to fans to have Tomlin act agitated and say next when he doesn't want to answer questions? I think it sucks. I did, and he says, amen, Chris, says Mike Lawrence. Thanks, Mike. I did see that part of the news conference. I saw a clip of it. And I'll be honest with you, I was actually happy that he didn't Tomlinism that to death. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like to me, when a head coach says next, he's kind of like, what's your point? It's obvious. The answer's obvious. You're asking me a question for me to embarrass myself. So I'm going to give you the answer you want by saying next. I mean, that to me that's coaching. Okay. I mean, would you disagree? That's old school.
I mean, you should answer the question, but I get it. There are some questions where media is just baiting you into an answer that can't be good, no matter how you answer it. Right? Like
right.
Your team sucked today. Who was the worst person on your team that sucked the worst?
Yeah, all of them.
Come on,
all of them.
Like yeah. You got to be a little bit more creative than that. Like TJ seemed to have trouble getting to the quarterback today, is there something in his game that you can do differently?
Yeah.
Like you like just try and be a little bit more nuanced in your questioning. When you say, "Boy, TJ sucked," are you going to bench him next week? Like,
well,
come
I mean,
on.
yeah. They didn't.
You know what
say
I mean?
that. Yeah,
That's the thing that I have about that. But I don't actually. I mean, I guess I'm so used to Tomlin. I've just got Tomlin scabs all over me. You know who's really annoying me now?
Tomlin scabs.
I do. I have them. But you know who's really annoying me now? It's Danny Smith. This chewing
Oh
bubble
God,
gum
I
shit
want to
and
throw up every
the
time I
fist
see him.
pumps every time somebody like makes a tackle or kicks a field goal. Like they got to show that every time. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
If they show another Danny Smith bubblegum chewing session, I'm going to have to lose my shit.
Yeah, listen.
He's a useless guy. He's a 65-year-old man that's acting like a child. Like, come on. Like, stop it. Just stop.
You know what? Look, I'm going to give you. I agree with you. But I agree with you for a different reason. I don't really mind the fact that they show the special teams coach when something good happens and the special team coach is hyped. That's cool. They show that a lot. I got two issues with this. Well, I got an issue and a question. The first question is, why do they show him so much? Because they show him even when there's a normal punt.
Right.
And he's
That's
over
my
there
point.
gnawing away on the gum. And it's like, look, man, that was a good punt. No problem. Nothing to get too excited about. So what are they trying to push in the NFL with this guy? What are they trying to do with this guy?
I don't know. Maybe it's bubble gum. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to get a bubble gum contract.
There is a commercial opportunity coming with the bubble gum. You can see that coming. It's kind of like the Bradley Cooper. Football is not a reason to sell food. Anyway, which I love, by the way. I love that, Uber Eats. So I think the other issue for me is I have nightmares about chewing gum. This is a true story. I have nightmares to this day. I have my whole life when I go through periods of stress where the nightmare is my mouth is full of gum and I'm like, I'm tired of this chewing gum. And I pull out the chewing gum and I can't stop pulling out the gum. Okay. I can't stop pulling out the gum no matter how much I pull it all out and then more forms, and I pull it all out and more forms. And I figured out through many years of therapy and various other chemicals that, it's probably a result of me feeling stressed and like I can never get shit done. All right. That's the end of the therapy session.
Wow.
It is
let's go to Dave.
Hold on. I gotta finish. It's going to be real quick. I promise. Every time they show Danny Smith chewing that gum, I get nauseous and then I have that goddamn nightmare. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? All right, let's go to Dave Cook.
You better prepare to have that nightmare for the rest of the year. Yes. Yeah. Dave said when getting 6 turnovers and winning by only 7 points last week, is anyone surprised with the offense last night? And the answer to that is no.
Are you asking me? I actually was a little surprised. I did not think that we would have the problems we had moving the ball, but I don't think it was a very well-constructed game plan. I don't think we had any idea what we were going to do with that Chargers defense, even though we played them a couple years ago. Even though who's their defensive coordinator?
It's a new kid. Now, actually, one of Tomlin's proteges.
Oh, they had to push that too. I don't even want to go into that. Yeah, because once the national media has caught on to the fact that, oh my God, everybody is talking about there's no coaching tree. Right. Now we have to manufacture a coaching tree.
Right. A guy who was 16 years old watching Tomlin coach in college.
Yeah. And what I didn't like about that is the way Collinsworth was like, and he would just sit there and stare at Mike Tomlin as he coached. And I was like, I think this kid has some problems. I don't think it's got anything to do with football. Yeah. So where were we going with this?
The offense,
I think
not getting it done last night.
I think it was, first of all, listen, I'm just going to go back on this. I'm going to go back and talk about this again. It wasn't a good game plan, but I don't think, and I get it. Steve and I disagree with this. Hockey Jesus over here, and I disagree.
Jesse Minter, by the way, is the defensive coordinator.
Jesse Minter, that's right. And he was in Cincinnati when Tomlin was the DB coach. Anyway, so I think that the whole reason that this offense sputters the way it does, because I'm going to say sputter. There are games, Rodgers always knows what to do with the ball, even when he's throwing it at somebody's feet.
Yeah,
he's throwing it at somebody's feet because he's like, there's nowhere to go. I'm just getting rid of it. I don't even care where it goes.
Right. When Broderick Jones ran into him.
Right. So it's kind of like you always know where he's coming from, which is, I think, a positive about him. They don't have a number 2 receiver. They can't game plan they can't game plan right with the offense they want to run because they only have one decoy, and that decoy is DK Metcalf. That's what I'm saying. I get the offensive scheme. They don't have the right personnel even to run Arthur Smith's offensive scheme because no team is afraid of anybody after DK Metcalf. So they double team him the whole game. And he is not having a very good year. And it's not because of him. And it's not because of Aaron Rodgers. It's because the Steelers who cares about Roman Wilson? Listen, guys, he's not the answer. I've been saying this the whole year. Okay? The whole year. Calvin Austin III, not the answer. The whole year. And who cares about anybody else? These are the guys. Scotty Miller's a nothing. All right? He's a nothing. He's a throwaway player. All right. Sorry, Scotty. You are getting paid good money, so I think you should be happy with that. But
he's not getting paid good money.
Good money compared to me. So, Pete Skoranek, or whatever his first freaking name is. No, sorry. Steelers Nation. Wake up.
He didn't even have one target this year.
I know. What I'm saying is this is our receiving core.
No, you're missing most of the receiving core. It's his 3 tight ends. That's what he wants to run. He wants to run the 3 tight ends. He wants to run Jonnu Smith. He wants to run Freiermuth. He wants to run Washington. Now, Washington did have one good catch this past weekend. But that's it. And Freiermuth had, an 8-yard screenplay. They're just not using them enough. And Jonnu Smith, that was a bad pass by Rodgers.
And he knew it.
That could have made a little bit of a difference in the game because that was the one where they actually had to go for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the thing. You got to have. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing that we need a second wide receiver of the caliber of DK, so that DK can be the guy who we paid for.
Yeah, Seattle had Tyler Lockett. Okay, they had Tyler Lockett. He's better than anybody on the Steelers other than Metcalf. Anyway, go ahead.
The worst part is that's not the way Danny Smith wants to run it.
You mean Arthur Smith?
I'm sorry, Arthur Smith wants to run it.
Did you have to bring up the goddamn chewing gum again?
No. I won't bring that up again. Please. But that's the way he wants to run the 3 tight ends. And it's
I know.
If you have the 3 tight ends out there, let's say 5 out of 9 plays, it's like you're only giving your wide receivers a limited opportunity to get out and get open and, understand what's going on in the secondary. And that's what drives me crazy about this offense. Now, it doesn't actually drive me crazy because I've understood that this is what they want to do. But when they don't get splash plays either on the offense or the defense, it's a recipe for disaster because you can't never come back from the 2 scores down. And what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do, to your point, and that's what you're trying to get at. There's nothing you can do to come back from 2 scores down because you don't have enough. You don't have any personnel that can possibly go out there and catch a 40-yard ball, and get us back into it with one play.
All right. Well, let's move on here. We do want your comments. We want to know what you think. And if you want to reach out to us at any time, you can reach out to us via email. That's easy. It's ogsportsporch@gmail.com. We would like to hear from you too. If you want to call in tonight, I've got the phone lines open. There's that phone number down at the bottom of the screen. Or you can join the show. There it is, the link. You can join the show. The Sports Porch Black and Gold. We are on YouTube. Click that subscribe button. Notifications will let you know when we're live, which is almost every single Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we're trying to do every Steelers post game. Hopefully next week I'm feeling a little better. Who do we got next week? Oh, yeah, we're going to do that right now. We're going to do that right now. Yeah. So, listen, I was talking to Steve before the show, and I said, let's like re-predict our predictions, but let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's do this. Do you think, or can you list or name, and I've put this up on the screen for those of you who are listening on the podcast or on Radio PGH, can we squeeze 5 more wins out of these last, 9 games? So we got the Bengals, the Bears in this order, the Bills, the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Lions, the Browns, and the Ravens. So what do you think? Are there 5 more wins here?
No.
What are the wins here, and what do you think they are?
Oh, that's easy. You're gonna beat Cincinnati. You're gonna beat the Browns. You're gonna beat Miami. And you're probably going to beat the Ravens once.
So
those are the 4. That's it.
Yeah. So that gets you to 9 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me.
One worse than I thought they would actually do this year.
Yeah.
So
how crazy is that?
But that actually might be enough because the Ravens are 4-5.
Right.
So that means they got to win. What, 6 games? So that means that means if you beat the Ravens once, and this is exactly where I was going to go, and I know you knew I was going this way. If you beat the Ravens once, you only have to win 3 other games.
True.
If you beat the Ravens twice, you really only have to win 2 other games, and that should be pretty easy with playing Miami and Cleveland. So.
You would think, but Miami beat the ever-loving shit out of Buffalo.
Yeah,
yesterday.
but that's a divisional game.
I called it. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
That's a divisional game. That happens. I mean,
genius is coming out now. The genius.
Yeah, right. Genius who took the Steelers. Real genius.
Yeah. Well, I thought they might come out and play hard.
Real men of genius don't take the Steelers on the road.
Yeah, I think this is real hard here. I think coming up, this is a bad time to play the Bengals.
No, not really. The Bengals just came off of 2 really rough losses, and they had to sit and listen to how terrible they are during the bye week.
Yeah, that's true. So
I mean, they blew their. Now, I would say if they won both of those games, which they should have, they would be looking really pretty because they would be 5-4 right there with the Steelers.
Yeah,
playing the Steelers at home. As Steelers coming off of a bad loss like that. So, but I don't know. I just don't feel it. I don't feel it with the Bengals and their defense. I mean, I guess anything's possible with our offense, but I just don't. I don't see that. But playing against the Bears are not a gimme anymore.
No,
the Bills look like they're going to have to win if they want to try and catch New England. And
that's in Buffalo.
And you got to play at the Lions, so that's probably a loss.
Yeah,
and
probably that to me is a lock for a loss. I'll tell you the way I see.
Well, who knows? Because that's 3 games left. They might not have to win that game.
I don't. Well, if that's the only, it's not a lock. But
yeah,
I look at this schedule and I say there is.
Oh boy, they play the Dolphins in prime time too. By the way,
I know, but there is one game, that I know they're going to lose, and that's the Detroit game. Other than that, the rest of these games, I could pick them and say, yeah, they should lose that. But this version of this team, I got no idea. They could lose versus Miami and then beat Baltimore twice. They could beat the Buffaloes. They could beat those Buffaloes in Buffalo. I don't know. I mean, I know Detroit.
No, they play the Bills at home.
Excuse me. Yes, they could beat the Bills here at home. I don't know. I know that if Detroit shows up to play, they will kill the Steelers. That much I know, because they are that good. The rest of these teams, they may show up to play, but if the Steelers really show up to play, they got a shot.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that if they win 2 out of their next 3, they're probably got a good shot at winning the division.
Right.
Because that means they only need to win 2 of their last 5, and they play the Browns and they play the Dolphins in that set.
Yeah.
Now, they could theoretically lose both to the Ravens and end up tied and then losing the tiebreaker. That would be the only caveat I would make. But I think honestly, they have 2 of their next 3 at home. If they can win those games or squeak out a win in Chicago, they're going to be looking, I hate to say this because they looked so crappy last night. They're going to be in okay shape. I mean, it's just that the Ravens have put themselves so far behind the 8 ball with all those losses. And I know they've won 3 in a row, and here they come. Definitely, they're coming. But they're 4-5. I mean, they're not a great team either. They've got more points against than they do points for at this point. So, I mean, they're not the juggernaut that they used to be. So that's the thing about playing in the AFC North. It's such a crappy division. But you're right. We could lose them all. We can't win them all, but we could absolutely lose them all. But all we really got to do is win 4 more games and we're in. If we win 2 against Baltimore, we're definitely in. That's all it. Right. That's it. I mean, it's that simple.
Next week, it's the Bengals. Next week, we will do the post-game show because that's fun. It really is. So if you're watching this on YouTube right now, thanks for being here. If you're watching this on X, thank you. Hop on over to YouTube if you can. And if you haven't, hit the subscribe button, click notifications. I drop the podcast right after the show in the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your freaking podcasts. It's time for Porch Picks. And what is that? Well, every week we make our NFL picks. We're having actually kind of a competitive year. We do the Thursday night game, the Sunday game, the Sunday night game. Now we're adding a bonus Sunday game this week because there's 3 great games this week. The Sunday night game is awesome. There's 2, pardon me, there's 2 really good games on Sunday. So last week we all had the Broncos over the Raiders on Thursday.
Almost blew that one.
Yeah. I had the Steelers because even though I'm very critical of them, I still really root for them to win. So I pick them. Mark and Steve had the Chargers, and the genius here picked the Dolphins to kill the Bills. Mark and Steve had the Bills. We were all 2-1. That's the thing.
No ground made up.
We were all 2-1. So HJ is still in the lead at 18-12. TD is at 17-13. The Grand Schwabini at 16-14.
Anybody's game still.
It is anybody's. You know, I'm telling you, we still every week. I want your ideas. What does the loser have to do? How does the loser have to embarrass themselves? You know, we got to do something like that. So Thursday night, this is the best game of the week. It is the Jets at the Patriots.
Best game of the week.
Obviously, this is going to be in high demand. Amazon again getting it right on a Thursday night and picking a very compelling game. The Jets, who are a dumpster fire, an absolute dumpster fire, although Breece Hall had a good day yesterday. They go into New England. New England is 8-2. I watched Drake May. I think maybe next week when I have my voice back, I might go into a little bit of this AFC quarterbacking thing. I've started to study some of these quarterbacks a little more. All I'm going to say about Drake May right now is, wow, they got a good quarterback in on that team.
Yeah, he's really competitive. I like his firiness. So
well,
he's got a good competitive spirit. Yeah,
he's disciplined. He knows how to play. We'll get to that when I go over what I like about him. Jets at the Pats. We'll just say Schwaber goes first because he dialed his picks in. He's picking the Pats.
Yeah, it's going to be the Patriots. The Jets have no wide receivers left in their whole core. Breece Hall's having a shitty year, and Justin Fields is not going to beat New England. New England, there's no way.
No. And the thing about Mike Vrabel is he's a hell of a coach. You know, here you go. Mike Lawrence says the loser of your picks has to wear a Cleveland Browns jersey and buy wings and beer or liquor for everybody. That sounds like a great idea. I just need to qualify everybody.
A Cleveland Browns shirt. Oh, man, that's brutal.
Not for me. I don't really care. Well, no, that would be brutal, actually. All right. We all got the Jets at Patriots. We all got the Patriots. Next up on the board, yes, this is a very compelling game because I'm getting more and more curious about both these teams. We got the Seahawks at the Rams. And the Grand Schwabini's dialing in the Rams. Matt Stafford is actually having an MVP type season. He's got like 25 touchdowns already. And I think he only threw 21 last year. So Sam Darnold looks like he is the real deal in the regular season. And the Seahawks got a great D. So Seahawks at Rams. Mark's got the Rams. HJ?
I got Seattle. They're my team of destiny this year.
Yeah, interesting pick there. I'm going with the Rams. Steve has the Seahawks. I'm going with the Rams because they're a good team. I mean,
I just think Seattle's defense is gonna take care of Stafford. Stafford's gonna blow up at one of these games. Kyron Williams can fumble the ball. I think that's gonna be the difference.
Mike says Rams with Matt Stafford leading them. I just think the Rams they're working on something special at this point.
Hey, so Seattle, dude. They're Seattle's really good.
Look, both of these teams are good. I think it's gonna be a close game, I guess is what I don't know what the score is gonna be, but I think it's gonna be a close, could be very high scoring.
28-24.
All right. That's what you're going with.
There you go.
28-24 Seattle. Here's a Sunday bonus game I could not ignore. I just could not ignore it. The Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, that's a really good one there.
Absolutely. Mark, the Grand Schwabini going with the Chiefs. What are you going to tell us here, HJ?
It's got to be the Chiefs. They have to win. I mean, if Denver wins this game, they're basically got the conference locked up. So I think it's going to be Kansas City.
I think this is a classic coaching matchup. As much as I have a lot of really hard, bad feelings for, that's probably the wrong way to put it, for Sean Payton. Don't like the guy. Think he's an egotistical bastard. He's still a good coach. He's determined that. He came into Denver and said, Russ ain't the guy. This guy's the guy. Nobody believed it, but he put a good defense together.
Just say Kansas City. I know you're going to say Kansas City.
No, I'm not. I'm going with the Broncos, brother.
You're forgetting Andy Reid's record after a bye week.
I get it. I know exactly what I'm doing here.
Okay. All right.
Remember, I picked Miami, brother, and that was a bigger long shot than this one. You know that.
I know.
All right. The fourth of these four games is also a great one. The Lions at the Eagles is, I want to pick the Chiefs, but Broncos home field and crowd advantage, says Mike Lawrence. What was I going on here? The Lions at the Eagles. Look, man, to me, and Schwaber, of course, he picks the Eagles. Now I know why he did. And I definitely think they can win this game. To me, this represents the line. If I'm Dan Campbell, I'm going into that locker room and I'm saying before this game, this is it, fellas. This is our Super Bowl right now. If we win this game, the rest of the year is on us. If we lose this game, the Eagles are sending a message we can't let them send. We have got to beat them, and I think they will. So I'm going with the Lions.
I think Detroit's going to have to win this game, and Philadelphia isn't, because let's face it, the division Philadelphia plays in is just absolutely falling apart.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
They're not going to have to win this game, and I think Detroit will. I think that'll be the difference. Detroit.
Very interesting. All right. There you have it.
Hockey, those are some good games. Those are definitely some damn good games.
They are some good games. And Hockey Jesus is on the porch tonight, and he is sitting to my right. Hockey Jesus preaches on the podcast after every single Penguins game. You've been on a roll, man. You've been doing them like crazy.
Well, that's because they're on a break now. Thank God, I could use one.
I bet you could. And pardon me, and they're live, and I'm going to let you take it away while I go cough my head off.
You go cough your head off. I'll update the fans about what's going on in the world of the NHL. The Pittsburgh Penguins are in a little bit of a free fall right now. They've lost 4 of their last 5, unfortunately. And mostly I think it's because of the injuries. They've like, and some of these injuries are not new. I've talked about them last week. Raquel's injured. Brosseau's injured. Turns out Hollander is injured. And now we know he's injured not because of some kind of injury that happened on the ice, but he's got a blood clot in his leg. So unfortunately, that means he will not be flying over to Sweden, which sucks for him because that's kind of his home country. So him and Raquel were supposed to kind of show everybody around. Now Raquel's going to have the only duty to keep the Penguins, being the host over there in Sweden. So that's not good. On top of that, they lost Caleb Jones, the defenseman, and they've kind of been struggling to find out who's going to play that spot lately. They brought up a lot of guys from Wilkes-Barre, including our guy Ryan Graves, who's played okay. He actually had a goal against New Jersey. He's not played bad, but he's just not the guy you want to play there, in my opinion. They sent Owen Pickering down, probably rightfully so. He hadn't been playing very well. They've been scratching Harrison Brunick. He's the rookie that they brought up. He has yet to play in his 9th game. Once he plays in his 10th game, he's played in his 9th game. But once he plays in his 10th game, that means they won't be sending him back to the Western Hockey League. So the fact that they haven't done that yet is really kind of interesting to me. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I think he's going to stay. I think he's going to stay up all season. I think they just have to keep him because of all the problems they're having with the defense. Look, Wotherspoon's been a very good find. He's been a good mix with Carlson. And Shea's been fantastic with Letang. It just seems like they can't get that bottom pairing together. And honestly, a lot of NHL teams can't get the bottom defensive pairings together. So, so that's really what's going on with the Pens with their injuries. Hayes has been back. He's been all right. He's been playing in the 4th line. I've really been enjoying the play of Lizotte. Lizotte's been playing on that 4th line. He's been a pest for a lot of teams. He's been drawing a lot of penalties, a lot of puck possession. I was able to go to the game on Thursday night to watch them make their only win against Washington in kind of a comeback way. So that was fun to watch live. And if you're from Pittsburgh, if you're in Pittsburgh, you got to get down to a game. I get it. If you're from out of town, you're not going to fly in to watch the Penguins. That I understand. Well, not really, but if you're in the area, go buy yourself a ticket. They're very affordable now. They're giving all kinds of discounts because they really want to get butts in the seats there, and they're kind of struggling to sell out. Thursday night's game was the only sellout. So, and that's really how the Penguins and anybody in the NHL makes money, is by selling out their home games. So, I guess that's a little plug for the Penguins, but I love hockey, so it's also a plug for just hockey in general. So that's really what's going on with the Penguins. I see, Mike, you want me to comment on the global series in Stockholm, Penguins against the Predators. This is something new that they're trying. Normally, they start the season in some European land, but this year they're trying it kind of mid-season. I guess 20 games in, so maybe 25% of the way through the season, they're going to try this. So the Pens are going to play in Stockholm. I tell you what, I wish I was going, because I think Stockholm would be a fun city to see. One thing I read today, and I didn't know this because geography is not my suit, but they only have light from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's only light 6 hours of the day in Sweden this time of the year, which is pretty bizarre. But so it's not like you're going to be out and about in the sunshine. So take your gloves and your hats if you're going on over the Sweden, Pittsburgh Penguins fans. But yeah, they're playing. You know what? I probably should have looked it up, but I think they're playing something at one of the games is 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm going to look it up right now. One of the games is at 2:00 in the afternoon. Yeah, 2:00 in the afternoon on Friday and Sunday. So they're actually not playing back to back, but they're playing Friday and Sunday. Sunday's a 9:00 start, so that'll be fun. Get up on Sunday, watch the Penguins play, and watch the Pittsburgh Steelers play against Cincinnati right after that. That'll be fun to watch. I think they're on the NHL Network, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like, yeah. So looks like the games are going to be on the NHL Network. They must be sponsoring these global series. I don't know if I call 2 games a series, Mike, but it's fun. It's good for the Predators. It's good for hockey. Sweden, the crowd over there will be a lot of fun. They'll be into the game for sure. I don't think they'll be singing country roads, though, like they do for the NFL games.
In Berlin, I love it. I love it, man. Takes me back to camping.
But yeah,
in the 70s, love it.
The good thing about the Penguins going on this trip is they're only playing those 2 games, Friday and Sunday, and their next game after that is not until the following Friday. So and all of these are home games. Even the global series, both of these are considered home games. So they really have a 5-game homestand, but 2 of them will be in Sweden, which is a little weird to say. But they're going to get a nice break in between. So then, of course, when they come back, they play Friday and Saturday back to back, of course. And then they got the dreaded Wednesday night game before Thanksgiving. And that gets us to Thanksgiving. And you know what? You know what they say, if you're at a playoff spot Thanksgiving, you're probably going to make the playoffs. And right now, the Penguins are trending for 101 points, and that is 100% a playoff spot. I think, I didn't do the math, they would probably have to lose 4 of the next 5 in order not to be in a playoff spot. And I don't see that happening. I mean, they could go on a pretty big losing streak, but that would mean they've lost, 8 out of their last 10. So I just think this team, when it comes to their defense, is structured well enough that they're not going to lose that many in a row. But honestly, we don't know the Muse system well enough to know if that happens. They did have 2 third-period meltdowns, the one against Toronto and the one against LA the other day. So that's a little bit of a concern. But other than that, I think the Penguins are still a surprise this year, even though they've hit a little bit of a rough patch here. And, I mean, look, Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin are near the top. And at one point, they were both the top of the goal scoring and top of the assist leaders in the league. When was the last time that happened for the Pittsburgh Penguins? Probably 12 years ago or something like that. So absolutely a surprise team this year. let's just hope they can get through this rough patch with all these injuries, maybe get Brazeau back soon, and get back into the winning ways.
Well, I mean, I think that the season's off to a decent start. I think a little better than everybody thought. And when's the next Hockey Jesus?
Well, it'll be after the 2:00 afternoon game on Friday. Before I hit happy hour. So
there you
go. Hopefully, for your sake, it'll be before I hit happy hour. But yeah, I did forget to mention Erik Karlsson. It's pretty excited. So you got 3 Swedes on this team. Unfortunately, Hallander's not going to be able to make the trip because of the blood clot in his leg. But yeah, it'll be good fun. And only Karlsson to be the only Swede on the ice because Raquel still got that injury that's going to keep him out for another 4 weeks. Yeah.
All right. Hockey Jesus preaches on the podcast, gives his sermon after every single Penguins regular season game. He does it live now, so you should pay attention after that game.
Hit that subscribe button and the bell. It'll go off. It'll say, hey, Hockey Jesus is on. Hurry up. Go see him.
You're catching up. Okay. This is the Sports Black and Gold at the Sports Podcast on YouTube. Do all that stuff that Hockey Jesus just said. Click all those buttons and things, and you'll be a follower, and you'll know when we're live. What the hell are we watching? That's what our segment is right now. And what is this? We give back to you. That's what we do. You give to us, so we give your valuable time back to you. There's a lot of streaming services. There's a lot of things you need to watch, but you don't know what those things are. And you spend a lot of time, flicking through trailers and stuff like that. 15 minutes in one episode, 5 minutes in another. Then you hop from Netflix to Apple TV, and then you go to Prime. I think I did this last night, to be honest with you, at some point. But this is what we do. We watch entire seasons of shows for you, and then we tell you if it's good or bad. We watch full-length movies or documentaries, and then we say if it's good or bad. We suffer to give back to you. This week, HJ is given back to you by watching this.
Dad, you know what this is? It's called Brick.
Yeah.
which is a really weird name for a show, right? Actually, this is not a show. This is
a movie, right?
This is a movie. Yeah, it's about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes on Netflix.
Right.
I guess it was an international sensation, which who knew? Because it's a German movie, right?
There we go.
Takes place in Hamburg, Germany.
Yeah.
And it starts out, just in your, normal routine where, you have a couple fighting about something and you're not really sure what they're fighting over. And there's this big fire going on at this factory or whatever. And then, the couple's fighting and she goes to leave and there's a big brick wall in her way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just a big, and it's not traditional brick. It looks like synthetic brick. Okay.
Right.
So you're like, what the hell is going on here? Well, as it turns out, it's not just in the door. It's on the windows. It's in the walls. It's everywhere. Like you can't get out of this building. Right. So what do you do when you're stuck in your building, when you're walled in, essentially? Well, you would do what any normal people would do. Start knocking down walls and seeing what the neighbors are doing.
Oh.
And, as it turns out, somebody's an architect and they know the lay of the building, and there's supposedly a tunnel underneath that you can get to. So, of course, when they meet other people are skeptical about them taking their food, and there's no water, the whole thing that would happen, like panic sets in. Well, as it turns out, I'm not going to give it away, but let's just say there's a guy in there that kind of knows what's going on, and he doesn't want anybody to get out. So you can imagine what happens with that. And you're left to wondering, if they do get out, what actually is happening outside that would cause this wall to come out. And it's pretty interesting. It moves a little slow. The characters are not not really. There's not a lot of character development. Let's just put it that way. And I give it 1 thumb up. I would say if you like these kind of movies where people get claustrophobic and they kind of get stuck in a place and you're wondering
it sounds wonderful
how they're going to get out, then you'll probably like this. But once again, it's German, so you're either going to have to read the subtitles or turn on the English and watch their mouths go like this while they're saying things that don't match.
What does it say about the state of the German psychological profile when they're making movies about being bricked in their own homes?
Well, actually, there's a technology component to this that is pretty interesting, and it may actually lead to Brick 2, believe it or not.
Wow, there's going to be a sequel. How about
maybe?
I think this sequel should be called 2 Bricks instead of Brick 2. And is there any gum chewing in it?
No gum chewing, no sex. So you might not like this movie.
Well, it's definitely not on my list. I mean, no gum chewing. If you held a gun to my head, yes. No sex. If you held a gun to my head, pull the trigger. I'm not watching. All right. TD, I made a promise a couple years back on this show. I did. And I think you'll remember this. I said I would watch all Walking Dead series, as many as I could.
That's true. You did.
I've been waiting for the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, the Book of Carol, because I did watch season 1. This is season 2. Now, here's what I got to tell you. First of all, you have to be like super into the Walking Dead to watch these. If you're not, I'm going to save you the time, because if you don't know enough, it's over. If you really enjoyed the first Walking Dead series,
the original, the OG.
Right. But then when it was over, you did what a lot of people do, which I do with a lot of shows. You're kind of like, they got another one. You know what? The last one was great. I don't want to dilute the franchise by watching it. I just want to remember that. Stick with it. As far as a shoot off goes, it's good. I'm still intrigued. If you're a huge Walking Dead fan and you just kind of need that taste, first season was decent. Second season is decent. Obviously, Carol finds him in France. He left and went to France, but definitely set itself up for a third season. I also am wondering when they start naming things the Book of Carol. Like you guys remember that movie, The Book of Eli?
Right, The Book of Eli with
Denzel
Washington, right.
And Mila Kunis.
That was really good.
I'll tell you, I may need to rewatch that and review it, but The Book of Eli was great. But this is about Walking Dead. I feel like they're trying to create a new Bible. The book of this, the book of that, the book of this, the book of that. All right. Come on, man. I get it, I guess. I get it. What's this? HK Brick House by the Commodores? Were we talking music earlier? Did I miss something there, Mike?
Maybe that's what he wants the sequel to The Brick to be.
Oh yeah, there you go. HK Brick House by the Commodores. Yeah, okay. I get it. I don't really get it, but I'm just trying to make you happy. That's okay.
So what are you saying? So you have to be a fan of The Walking Dead in order.
If you love The Walking Dead, if you've watched the first season of this, you're going to watch the second season of this. So in a way, it's kind of a bullshit review, because now you're going down a niche. If you're a Walking Dead fan and you're an Uber fan, you're going to like this. If you're not, actually, maybe what I should do is say this. If you're not a Walking Dead, or you were a Walking Dead fan, and you're one of those like casual walkaways, the Daryl Dixon series, the first season and second season, not bad. Not bad. So I give it a 2 thumbs up for that reason. But you're not going to just walk into this season and be like, oh, it's a cool show. You got to know the history. You got to watch the other shit.
I never really thought that Daryl was that big of a badass, to be honest with you.
No, he's a softie. He's a softie. Absolutely. He's a softie.
So I'm surprised they're like doing spin-offs of him, because He's just not that exciting to me. It's going to be a loser every time.
Yep,
Exactly.
it's going to be every show. It's going to.
But you know what? Daryl's not a loser because he's still alive.
Yeah, and I don't think Daryl's a loser. I think what it is he's, he's a softy, man. He had a hard life, and then the world went to shit, and it seems perfect for him. But he does care about people. I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist. But what I am is the technical director of the Sports Technical Podcast. I'm going to drop it after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere you get your freaking podcast. Please, if you're watching, hit that subscribe button. At the Sports Podcast on YouTube. That's where we are. Click it right now. Hit the notifications every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Follow us there. That's where we're going. That's where you'll find us. Next week, hopefully the Grant Schwabini will be back. I'm pretty sure he will. Post-game show after the Bengals. We will be there. For Hockey Jesus, I'm your technical director. That's the news. And I'm out of here. Thank you, Mike Lawrence. Jablonsk.